Hey guys, Wood here and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be covering whitelist, ban, and pardon, and the unique things about these commands is that they are actually server-side commands. So you can't use these in your normal worlds, but you can use these in other worlds, if they are on a server specifically. So before I begin this video though, of course, thank you to my patrons on Patreon for supporting me. Right now I have Shatter as my patron. If you'd like to consider supporting me, click the link in the description below or tap or click on the end card at the end of the video. So anyway, so whitelist, ban, pardon are super important commands, and I'm going to go ahead here and hop into my server here to go ahead and demonstrate these to you. By the way, guys, if you happen to be part of my server, I'm just gonna hide the sidebar here because it's being annoying. Alright, anyways, so if you happen to be part of my server and you want to help out and you haven't done this already, I have a poll that I've done about the server. I'll have it as the part of the end card, I believe, and if not, I'll have it in the description. But it's something you should check out if you are on my server because I do need input for the next server. Alright, so anyways, whitelist, ban, and pardon are pretty useful commands, and they're essentially one thing that allows you to control what players are allowed and what players aren't allowed on your server. So if I go ahead and take a look first off at the whitelist command, you'll notice there are a bunch of different options. The first command is the whitelist command, and the whitelist command is a fairly simple command, but it can be used for a lot. So first off, you have whitelist on and off. And I'm not going to actually run either of these, but essentially what it does allows you to turn on and off the whitelist. And what the whitelist is it's a list of people that are allowed on your server. So if you have the whitelist on, only people in your whitelist will be allowed on your server. If you have it off, everybody will be allowed on your server as long as they have the server IP. So it's pretty important to have on if you don't want other people on your server. And yeah. Alright, so if I go ahead and write whitelist on, for example, it would turn the whitelist on. Alright. Whitelist list. So this will go ahead and give you a list of every single person who is whitelisted on the server. So for example, I currently have 43 people who have total joined the server, but all 47 of these people are whitelisted, which is pretty cool, as you may imagine. And so that is obviously pretty interesting, and it lets you just see what you have whitelisted. And I should keep in mind as well, in your server, there will be a file for your whitelist, which is where this whitelist reload command comes in, because the whitelist reload command allows you to go ahead and double check who is whitelisted on your server and who isn't. So, or sorry, that's not what I meant to say. I meant to say if you change your whitelist file on your in your server files, then you have to do reload in order to make sure that it in order to make sure that it updates with the changes that you made. So that's the whitelist reload command. The whitelist add command allows you to add a player. So for example, if I wanted to say, for example, just temporarily remove Wavejump Games YT, which is one of my accounts. I have two accounts. That is now gone. So if I do whitelist list, there are now only 46 players. But now I can go whitelist add Wavejump Games YT. And if I do whitelist list again, there are 47 whitelisted players now. So whitelist, pretty simple, not a huge deal, but it's fairly important. Alright, so ban is the next command, and this is an extremely useful command because you may need it if you have some pesky players on your server. So, if I go ahead here and go over objective set display sidebar warning, I can just go ahead and show you an example of when you would want to use the command. So a while ago, there's a player whose username was IBEcraftN on my server who just was not being a good person. And I gave him like multiple warnings, and he refused to stop. So essentially, and you know, he ended up even swearing on my stream. I don't even know if that stream's still up, but essentially what I had to do is I had to give him enough warning, or I gave him a certain amount of warnings, and I just decided, okay, it's getting ridiculous, out of hand, I'm just gonna ban you. But obviously, without the ban command, there would be no real way for me to do much to him. I can't really silence him via chat without plugins, and I can't, you know, really, if I just say, for example, put him in adventure mode and have him constantly be teleported into the void or something, that's not going to do much either. So what I did is I just decided to ban him. And the way the ban command works is, and I, by the way, don't know how many of these are actually vanilla commands because I do have some plugins installed. But anyways, the ban command is pretty simple because the way it works, and you know, this video help ban, the way it works is that you have ban, name, and reason. So for example, if I didn't like myself, you're not allowed to ban yourself, I don't think, and you're not allowed to ban ops. And I'll go over op in a future episode if you would like. Um, but essentially, yeah, the ban command will allow you to make it so that players can't join your server ever again. So if I do slash ban, say for example, that annoying guy ipcraftn, then he would be banned. But say for example, I wanted to add a reason. So if you have a reason on, that means that when the player will try to join the server, there'll be a message. So I'll show you an example here, which is I have this command called opme, which will, when you run it, say, do you really think it would give you op? Well, the answer is no, and that's like a plugin that I have installed. So you'll notice this is kind of what you'll see when you would log in. So you would see you are banned from the server, and then it'll go reason, and then the reason why right here. So if I rejoin here, and I go ahead here and do slash ban, you would go ahead and put your reason right there. Say, for example, I want to ban ibcraftn for being a jerk. Then what it'll show is, banned reason being a jerk. So that's basically something you may find helpful. And say, for example, there was somebody who you banned who you just wanted to go ahead and unban because they were a good person again, or you just had banned them for trolling or something. You obviously need to know how to unban them. So in order to unban somebody, you don't use /unban. That's not a real command in vanilla Minecraft. It's kind of weird, but the command you're supposed to use is pardon. So the way the pardon command works is that you do /pardon and then the person's name, and then it'll unban them. So for example, the only person I've banned right now is ibcraftn, so when I press tab, that's the only name that shows up. So all I would have to do is /pardon his name, and he would be unbanned, but unfortunately, I don't think he'll ever be unbanned. So, by the way, this is going to be a cool thumbnail, I think, at some point, because that looks really cool, I think. So that's the pardon command. I want to go ahead and show you the ban IP command. I believe this is one that is actually in vanilla Minecraft, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, the ban IP command allows you to IP ban someone. And the way the IP ban command works, and you may have heard of IP banning before, is that it'll essentially ban someone's IP. And what this means is that, say for example, they have multiple accounts, and they're trying to log in from the same computer, they'll never be able to do that because you're banned their IP, which is linked to their computer. So essentially, they won't be able to join again with any account from that computer or IP address. So essentially, what I would just do is ban IP, right? The person's name, say for example, Wavejump Games, and then the reason. So that's the most secure way to ban someone. But sometimes, say for example, you know that there's some, say for example, they're on your Wi-Fi, you may not exactly want to ban their IP. But anyways, I hope you have enjoyed this video and that this video has been informative as always. If you have enjoyed this video, leave a like down below, subscribe if you haven't already, consider supporting me on Patreon, share it with your friends if you think they'd find it helpful. And yeah guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.